here again with the Cypher Unlimited crew and some special guests. But yeah, we have our usual suspects of AD or Alpha Dean. We have Spigs 18 or Anthony. And Dean, what are we doing here today?
Hello, Al. It just happened to be one of those, balmy nights in Shadow Shade City, and we met Alex walking down the road. Mm-hmm. Alex, the pair of Ravendesk games, of all things. The creators of Vert and all that other good stuff over there at Ravendesk. And he introduced me to his friend, James Aquilone. They're here to tell us a few things about what's going to happen in this crazy new city and Pandemonium Noir. Alex.
I can dig it. I love that. That was the intro. Nice.
Anthony?
Yeah, so again, we're in a dark...
I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, I was going to say, we're in a dark alley now. We're meeting up, we're tipping fedoras to each other there in Shadow Shade, the big rotten apple. Yeah, this is Alex from Ravendesk Games. Yes, we're all friends here from before. We've talked in the past, but this time around, it's for our Kickstarter for the new game series, actually from, it's called Weird Tales Presents Pandemonium Noir. And Pandemonium Noir is the setting, the world, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but we're really excited. And Pandemonium Noir is, again, started in the pages of Weird Tales, and James will tell you about that, but then has gone into a book series, and that's where I caught it. I caught the first book, and it made me want to play immediately. I wanted to get out the dice. I wanted to make ciphers out of all these crazy, just wacky, it just got wilder and wilder, and I love the series. I talked to James quite a while ago. This has been part of the plan, and then we decided also to partner up with Weird Tales. But again, this is Pandemonium Noir, and it's based on the world of Dead Jack, and nobody better to talk about that than James Aquilone. My buddy also tipping a fedora in this shady alley.
So I write the Dead Jack series. I'll be co-writing Pandemonium Noir, and I'm new to the RPG world, so bear with me. I'm not as familiar as the rest of you guys on all that. So I started Dead Jack. It was a short story that was published in Weird Tales magazine back in 2014. And then I got the crazy idea of making it a novel, and I did a Kickstarter. I didn't think anybody would be interested in it. I just wanted to do an initial goal of $500, and I was kind of prepared to maybe put my own $500 in there to, in case no one was gonna pledge. And then I ended up making $1,000 in I think 2 days or something, and then it just got bigger and bigger, and I think we raised over $5,000, and I was like, wow, I guess people are interested in this fairy dust addicted zombie. And then about 2 months after the Kickstarter, it got optioned for TV and film, and things just got crazier and crazier after that. Then I got an agent.
Funny.
And then now it's a game. It's gonna be a game.
Mm-hmm. So, that's awesome. I mean, I think the first thing, we know Ravendesk Games from Vert. The quality you guys put out is phenomenal. Vert is probably one of my personal favorite games of all time. So, I have no idea that, I have no doubt that Pandemonium Noir is going to be just as successful as Vert is. And Dead Jack just hit my radar recently, and everything I've seen about it is, dude, I want to play in that universe. So I guess the first question I'm gonna ask to both you guys is, how did you guys hook up? How did Ravendesk Games and Dead Jack, become a perfect combination?
Well, I think originally, correct me if I'm wrong, James, it was, we were doing Herald, which is for for Savage Worlds. I know we shouldn't say that on this channel. Okay. No, I'm sure. No, Herald, Lovecraft, and Tesla. And because there was an overlap also of, knowing that, we're dealing with Lovecraft, but also, that whole era and that whole cool, yeah, nice. You got it already. That whole cool vibe. I reached out, I believe, and we were talking about even, cross promoting, and then, but I was talking to Weird Tales, and James is, involved, with them as well. So that he was kind of a point of contact all of a sudden. And then he mentioned, or I started looking Dead Jack, and I saw it. And I was like, this is bonkers. And it had a map in it already. I mean, come on, guys. We know what that's all about. There's this giant map with all these locations. All of a sudden, you're, and it came with this cool postcard and what is it, a bookmark and everything. And again, it just read like a game. I just wanted that sandbox. And so I reached, or we kept talking, we just, the idea of doing a game, Weird Tales or not, again, Weird Tales, it's wonderful. It really is. It's about the whole, not just the magazine, not just H.P. Lovecraft and all the others who wrote for it, but it's more about the vibe also. There's many settings we could have chosen. Obviously there's still many settings where, we have plans for, but the first one out of the gate, more than the fact that James wrote it and we're going to be this is our project for Weird Tales through on out. But it was the fact that Pandemonium Noir specifically was the best way in because it was fun. Everybody probably was expecting some Call of Cthulhu clone or some kind of like, something dark and gritty with gibbering madness. And that's coming up, but truly like the most exciting part for me was like, I wanted to play something where there was like, almost like, again, I'm dropping names I probably shouldn't, but, almost Shadowrun meets Call of Cthulhu style, where you have all these crazy, and that's what reading Dead Jack felt, and the Pandemonium Device, the first book. Then of course, Dead Jack, it continues on to the second book and even the third coming out. But that's what it read like for me, was like, it felt like weird, that whole weird vibe, almost, the EC Comics vibe, that whole Big Daddy Roth, big Ed Roth, and the whole, that whole creepy, it just read, and the setting, and I'll let James talk more about the setting, but in his books, it's a little bit earlier. It's in the 40s, a little bit right before about 1950. So just so we could do the sandbox and kind of get all the space available and really get that weird stuff and get, really expand to all the craziness that's already there in the pages and then expand way out. We decided, again, set it just a little bit farther ahead. Still involves, nothing contradicts the books whatsoever. In fact, it's like the perfect way in. Dead Jack is, he's a speaker, and he's definitely, he's got a couple foci that probably contradict each other. So, he was like a perfect way in. So, again, I'll let James talk about the series specifically, but yeah, to me, it read like the weirdest, craziest gonzo pulp, like wild, like everything I wanted to play as a kid, with all the monsters, all the fairies and pixies and all this madness packed into a noir setting was so cool for me. And yeah, I had to, I'm so glad. And again, we're co-writing this entirely. So, this is him expanding things that maybe didn't make it into the book, or, who knows. So again, I'll let James talk from there.
Yeah, the whole idea of Pandemonium was just me saying, let me just have some fun, and I'm not going to care about trying to get this thing published. I'm going to self-publish this thing because I just want to have fun with it and be able to do anything I want. And it's going to be a zombie who's going to be addicted to fairy dust, and he drinks and he smokes, and it's going to have every monster possible, and it's just going to be crazy and weird. And I figured I don't really want to bother with a publisher who's going to say, no, he can't snort fairy dust.
Yeah.
He drinks, formaldehyde and whiskey. It's called Devil Boy. and he smokes hellfire sticks. So I said, screw that. I'm gonna self-publish this thing, and I'm gonna just do what I want. And then Pandemonium is just a place where, when in the books, they banish every supernatural creature on Earth to this dimension where they're trapped. So that's great. Now I can put every monster, every supernatural creature, every mythical being is all on this planet, and now we can do anything. And that's where the game really is able to exploit that, because you could do anything in this world, because you have ogres and vampires, and there's a zombie island, and they're all in this crazy alternate New York City. So
I mean, you have me sold at zombie detective. You know, like if anybody knows me,
that's all they need.
It
was an easy sell.
Yeah, I was sold right there.
You got me all excited anyway. You see him wearing my hat. So this is gonna be my character. I'm telling you right now, he's coming in. His name is Muggsy Stallone. Muggsy is already gestated in my brain, and I don't even have the game in front of me yet.
Well, we're definitely going to be playing, and again, we'll talk about that in a bit. But we will have a session where we're all playing here, and yeah, the characters you create. Remember, especially you three. You know, not all the art is done yet. That's all I'm going to say. So let's make something fun. We're going to have crazy times. We'll be able to, not just the pre-gens, you know, I'll give you guys, you know, choices, but I definitely want you guys to, you know, like everybody, I want everybody to feel like, you know, it's their game. This is the sandbox, you know, this is the wild, crazy noir sandbox. And again, noir means different things for different people. Some people, and that's, you know, this has everything. So for some people, when they think like the 40s, 50s, it's the, you know, especially, you know, it's almost like the Bogart, or it's like the Billy Wilder films, you know, it's this, you know, it's all this black and white, you know, real hard-boiled detective, you know, these wonderful, wonderful, you know, films with fast-talking narrators who have more inabilities than training and skilled. Look at me dropping the science stuff. You know, absolutely. Yeah, everything is against them, that whole feeling. But at the same time, that fit like 1950, like early 50s, especially in New York City. And again, this is this weird alternate dimension. Even for us out here on the West Coast, you know, come on, you know, you guys had everything then. We did too, in our own weird way. And maybe we'll talk about that sometime soon. But for now, yes, Pandemonium, you know, Noir is this absolute like expanse where you've taken the 5 boroughs of New York, and now there are these gigantic islands. And Shadow Shade is 100 miles from top to bottom. And so everything is bigger and everything is more, you know, it's more possible to find like a crazy, like, you know, something that, you know, like the Full Moon Saloon in Midtown. You know, you're trying to avoid the you know, the Wood of Shadows. There's no way in hell you're walking through that part again. There's just no way. So you're going to take a left, and you know what? You know, one of your ciphers is a subway voucher, so you can get across and under, and get there by midnight to meet, you know, somebody shady. So I want that feeling of the 50s too, of New York, where you got like, you know, the beat poets, and you know, James is, of course, this is all present in the books. But the sandbox allows us to pull it out even more, and then get the creepy, Rat Fink dragster vibes.
Right, you get the whole pulp thing thrown right in there with it, the pulp noir, and it's just gonna make everybody dance a jig. I'm definitely on board with this one, guys.
Yeah. I just wanted to chime in because all y'all are saying so many exciting things. Just I have started reading the book, haven't finished it yet. Oh, it's upside down. I'm not the best reader. I will probably try to pick up the audiobook as James requested because, again, I have attention issues when I go to try to read something. But anyway, that's beside the point. The material was just, it's just such an imagination sparking setting. Like, you see so many different, like, I've probably read maybe, like, I'm on page 46. And I've already have seen so much, like so many different, like what you call, like, I guess supernatural beings, like the zombies or the leprechauns or the homunculus, like I don't know, whatever you call them. What's it, Oswald, right? And yeah, I'm so excited to play in this universe and Cypher system. Like, I'm dying to play it. Like,
Yes.
I have to chime in and say that. That's
Let's keep things moving and keep business happening. So, tell us a little bit about the Kickstarter itself. What is the overall thrust and push that we're trying to do here with this Kickstarter? Because that's what everybody wants to know.
Mm-hmm. James, I mean, you want to start with that, and I'll back you up, or
I think you should probably start with that because
okay.
You know about the Kickstarter.
Well, yeah, again, we both are coming from, again, I don't want to say different sides because there's a lot of overlap, but again, in the game side at least, as far as stretch goals and stuff, we've got a goal of, honestly, it's an honest goal. It's 19,500. And could we have set it lower to hit it quicker and all this? Yes. But I know from experience with Vert, how much things cost, how much, if you're going to pack in the quality art, if you're going to get the right artists, you're going to get the right writers, get the right, you have to do it right. We learned so much over those 2 Kickstarters. So that is exactly what it takes to get the full quality thing. And by thing, I mean to say it is a core book, but it's also 4 quarterly zines. So we have zines that are mailed out. And these zines, 16 to 24 pages, we'll see as far as as the Kickstarter proceeds. But, so not only getting the core book, which is going to be great, and it has that crazy art. Frendon, he is a brilliant mad scientist there. And this is his bag. So he's going wild on this, as you guys can tell from seeing some of this art. And so, with all of us, being able to do that, to work together, to get those zines together, to get that core book packed with art, to make it with all the rules in there. So you don't need additional books, of course. All the rules are there, and they're not overblown, and it's a fun, pulpy, crazy kind of experience, which is, again, perfect for Cypher. It's a lot of one-use items. It's all this stuff. So again, a core book with all the rules. And then these comics coming out, or zines that have all these great, comics inside it, and puzzles and games, and a one-shot, and new ciphers and tables, and NPC generators, and new background connections, and all of this stuff are in these zines coming out with this crazy art style, especially the zines, every 90 days. So you have the core book, 90 days, and you has everything, and that'll have, of course, all the full campaigns and several one-shots, even a solo play option, all that in there. But 90 days later, you get the zine, and you have a one-shot, and it has pre-gens as well, so you can get your friends in and just jump in and play. And it has ways to, you want to connect it, you want to connect those, 4 and, continuing perhaps zines. Well, it'll tell you want to connect these one shots, here's how, and here's some, ideas, but you don't have to. It's meant to be just like, let's pick up one, you're looking through the art, you love it, you're going to play the one shot. So that's what we're selling. And I'm, again, being cynical about that, but it is true. Like we need a certain amount of money to do this quality. We're not going to start now, skimping, because it's not worth it. It's just not, especially for printing it.
Alex, I'm gonna put you on the spot because when you guys dropped Vert, you set the bar up pretty high because Vert had a ton of extras. I think that's what appealed to a lot of people. Your equipment section was ridiculous in that book, unlike any other book at the time that's was Cypher system related. So could you talk to me about what maybe new mechanics or races you might be adding?
Love it. Yes, there's 16 so far life forms, and actually 2 of them are parentheses unlife forms, because let's be real, if you're a specter or you're a revenant, aka ghost and zombie, don't say that in front of some of them, perhaps, but yes, some prefer to be specters, and they are, they have an unlife form. Yeah, there's 16 of them. Again, this is coming directly from the books, from the world of Pandemonium that James created. So we've got ogres, we've got trolls and pixies, but not. So there's also like plant things that anything that looks like something from like a Lovecraftian twisting pile of writhing reeds and grass, to like almost like a swamp thing, a badass who can move faster than anybody else, but at the same time probably drives a cab and probably has insomnia and probably is hoping that if he's looking in and he has a cipher limit of 2, should he switch out that last swig of Devil Boy for the Little Reds? I don't know. Maybe. So those are the feel. Again, you have all these choices with the some of them really well known, and there are humans as well, but there's witches, and the witches have magical tattoos, for example. They are able to, and witches can look everything from like human to human looking to the traditional the green skin and the
warts and
Long
stuff.
nose.
yes, exactly, or yep, all that. But they have magical tattoos, and so only they are able to go to maybe Abracadabra Hill in Witch End and get a particular tattoo. And that particular tattoo, I'll get a good one here. Okay, so say this this dagger underneath here. Well, if they're in a bind, if someone let's say scares them in a dark alley, they can pull out the dagger from their tattoo and wield it and use it, and it's a one-use item, so it's a cipher. So all of a sudden they can put it back, and maybe it's not a dagger next time, maybe it's a key, a skeleton key. And so you have these crazy things where, again, especially with the cipher system, you have again 16 plus, and we have 9 just waiting in the wings there, gnomes, elves, we've got got quite a few of the crazies there, the wonderful beautiful wild life forms.
Leprechauns.
So real
It's nuts.
I mean, Alex, because you're making me excited with all of this stuff. But
Yeah.
I have a question for you, Jay.
Yes.
Okay.
Can we look forward to say maybe some more sweet little short stories to keep us inspired? Is that going to be a thing? Because I'll be honest with you, I'm one of those people. I could do less with setting material, more with seeds. So like if you're going to give us, or is it going to be any of those kind of goods in there?
I'm finishing up a short story right now. So that's the second Dead Jack short story, called Dead Jack in the Case of the Creepy Cryptid.
Oh, I like it.
Nice.
And so there's a character in there called Unicorn de Haviland, and she's a singer. She's in a psycho swing band called Hill Unicorn Kill.
Nice.
And so basically, someone took a compromising photo of her, and she has to hire Dead Jack to get it back before it ruins her career.
Nice.
That's amazing.
You see, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. That's awesome, because that's gonna be like all the stuff for one shots for us. You're gonna inspire us, dude. That's
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Every zine. I would say every zine will have something that James is also doing. As well. So his writing is going to be packed.
Alex.
Sorry to cut you off, James.
No, I was going to ask. You mentioned the zines. Would the zines be a series of short stories, or how is it going to be? Is it going to be artist rendered graphics? Is it going to be similar to a comic book? Could you just touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, and then it works out perfectly back into James about what the writing is going to be, or some of our thoughts on it. In addition to the one shot and puzzles and things, I think I may have shared. I'll definitely share it in the Discord channel here for Cypher Unlimited there in just a second, as well as post it. We have these like little comics like Pazuzu Joe. And Pazuzu Joe has It has the Pandemonium Kids, and the Pandemonium Kids are three, it's this fun little thing, but they explain how, not only in that particular one, that's how ciphers work. There'll be things like that, where, and then it'll say, what about this? And in the side, it'll look like an order, mail order, cut it out here and this and that. It'll have new ciphers and very specific for your game. And ones, honestly, you can cut out if you want to. Honestly, go for it. It is your game. Some people would freak out with that, but truly, it's meant to feel like the old comic books, the old Weird Tales. I mean, you'd crumple the cover, you'd want to just dig in. It's meant to feel like that. So it'll have that, especially the short stories. The idea would be that in addition to the one shot, we'd have something setting it up every time. And perhaps it'd be something that the players and GM would want to tap into. And there'd be suggestions for their own game, like how you could incorporate this, little, a serialized, morsel, a short story into your game or not. But one way or another, it's enjoyable. And that, again, that's where, especially James is, he's going to be able to create, again, expand even more Pandemonium. He's going to be the one doing these, these serialized shorts, these morsels, and we'll make sure, again, all the mechanics work, because we know what we're doing on that side. We know, truly.
Can I throw out a suggestion, a stretch goal suggestion?
Yes, please.
Well, why don't we make, since you're going to do that, but if it all works out, make an interconnected thread, so all the adventures, all the one shots actually kind of connect together in that overarching idea. Where it's like, you didn't know that this was a piece of the puzzle, and it all connects, old spy, Get
out of my head. Get out of my head.
It's creative people, we can't help it.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yes. The ability to, again, world map wide adventures, to zoom in to shadow shade, to zoom in even more to say, again, down in by the bridge, by the big bridge there in Irish Town or Little Valhalla, the crazy dark stuff down there, the real creepy crawlies, like that'll be one of the zines. We're gonna go up and later on up into Midtown, where Frank and Gil there hang out and trade stories and and maybe pick up information, maybe even pick up jobs in the booth in the back. I don't want to give anything away, but you'll always be able to go back to the Full Moon Saloon, even in further in the other three zines, to continue what you started on that little story track. And those are just little nuggets and morsels that we want to pack into it. So they'll all feel cohesive, but again, with the art by Frendon, who's a wild mad scientist, and then James able to continue to expand more than just the short stories they're going to be packing the core book, but also in these zines, these serialized ideas. And maybe they'll be Dead Jack, maybe not. That truly is, it certainly will be Pandemonium Noir, but that is entirely up to James. And that's the beauty on this time, I'm going to say. I get to, in so many ways, just sit back and just be like, okay, well, what's this all about? And he'll be like, okay, well, there's the Empire Snake Bill, it's 102 stories of blah, blah. I'm like, wow, come on, now I want to see what all 102 stories, what's, kind of wackiness is on, in the garage level. Oh, James knows.
Floor 13 would be the normal floor.
Yeah, again, I just get to ask James, and it's lovely. So that's real. We're all real fortunate. And again, I also have to give a absolute shout out to Irregardless there. Not only are they doing the design and all the design, but it's more than just the art design and layout and beautiful fonts and everything, but it's even way into, it's with the helping, more than helping, collaborating entirely with the video, with, the setup, with the stretch goals and everything. They're part of this from the ground floor And anybody again here who knows them knows that they're the real deal, and they're fun and they're great, and we're lucky. So we got the I don't want to say the Avengers, but we got the bizarro world of the Avengers, the interesting, the Umbrella Academy. I don't know. Talking about.
We absolutely know that for a fact. With Robin Shaw, rock stars. I think anybody on Cypher Unlimited knows that.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I would. Oh, go ahead, Al.
No, I just have one simple question for James, just because it popped into my head. Kind of not really directly related to the content of the stuff here, but I am wondering, have you played any Cypher system since joining in this endeavor? And if not, we should get you in on that.
I've actually.
Dude, you in New York? I'll find you.
No, I've never played. I don't play any tabletop role playing game.
Gotcha. We definitely got to change that.
Character.
Oh.
We made the character, yeah. So don't.
Well, I mean,
don't
so
talk about the show.
I was gonna say that's gonna ask you a great question. Having never played a role playing game, what's your mindset coming from writing fiction to designing and writing for a role playing game? Did you change your mindset in any way?
Yeah. I mean, when you're writing fiction, I mean, you want to tell the whole story yourself and say this and this happens, and here I can't do that. So Alex is telling me, like, you're building a sandbox. You're just giving them the elements, and they can go anywhere, and they'll take it in places that you'll never think of. So that's what I'm learning, and just say, all right, I'm just gonna give you the elements, and then let's see where you go. And that's what I'm really interested in seeing is, like, where are people gonna go with this, and that's gonna be really cool to see. Like, oh, I didn't think of that.
Well, James, I can tell you, with you being such a powerful creative, we can show you the basics, and I'm gonna tell you, if you run a couple of games, you're gonna be hooked. Because not only.
Oh yeah, I'm dying to play.
But I'm saying, not only is it so much fun to run a game, but after you run a couple of games, it sparks even more ideas to write other stories. It's, RPGs, I've been writing for a long time, but RPGs have always been like this beautiful, balance of things, and I think, just, looking at your Dead Jack stuff, I can't wait for my copy to get here. I'll probably read it in a night because that's how I read, and I just can't wait to get my hands on it. But it's like, it's so cool to have you here, and to talk to a person who walks down that, that creative path in the sense of, let me tell the whole story, as opposed to setting up the seeds, So thanks a lot for being here, man.
Oh, it's great.
And just based off what you said on how you're looking forward to seeing how many different directions people will take this, you just don't know the half of it. That's all I can say. Just based on how players can just, even as a GM, I'm the most inexperienced GM of all of us, but just you make out these plans and whatnot, and then the players just take it sideways, don't even touch the things you have written down, and it's always amazing to see what they can come up with. It's a wonderful feeling.
And I'm a freaking say it. I'm happy to have somebody with a heavy New York accent like mine. I'm not the only one here by myself.
I don't think I
Thanks,
have an
James.
accent.
Oh, I can hear that Staten Island from a mile away.
hear it all day long.
Okay.
Come on, James. I hear it all day long. You're just talking. I hear you speaking, buddy.
I don't hear it.
What you call it? You guys.
I'm not alone for once.
You guys did mention that you worked on a character together. Yes. Was it the thing that we talked about earlier, Alex?
No, this was I'm trying to remember we what we ended up with. I took him through, because the game is written. The setting stuff is all of what the path forward is, and making sure that all the, as new things come up, and again, there's a lot already just pulled directly from the books and expanded, but what's there was already has the character creation rules, everything like that. So we went through it in order of just like, hey, here's 16 life forms. Basically, your type. Your blank is a blank who blanks. the magic cipher sentence. And we started with that, and we went through and created a character just choosing all the wild stuff. So again, this was a little bit early days, so I'm sure it was a little bewildering to be like, well, do you want to, this has, I was trying to simplify it for sure, but even with that, again, I feel, we certainly got through it, and at the end of not too long at all, we ended up with something that was just wildly different than, of course, neither of us had expected.
So my follow-up question on that would be, then what was the character you guys created if it wasn't the thing that we talked about earlier? What was that character that you ended up cobbling together that first time?
It was a spell-slinging goblin. I think we named him Guido.
Yeah. It was. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it was. Guido is a goblin spell slinger who I think his was craves the fix, which again is one. We're talking. This is a fun game, but this is a game for everyone. So we do want to be able to let people be like, yeah, this is a dark, dirty noir if you want it to be. So. Yeah, I can't remember exactly what he was addicted to, but we certainly, the foci, while they are very different from Vert, but even mechanically, but they are built in a similar way where it's less about like what super heroics do you want to imagine, which is wonderful for Numenera and the strange, of course, tradition, all the predation, all the wildness. This has the pulpy side, but again, is more the foci especially are more like how to noir it up. Why you're working at an all-night diner. It's because you're a vampire.
Well,
you gotta work during the day. Come on, and it's never really day. It's this ever-present, red night sky that. So even things like that, all the foci are meant to be like punch in the fact of like, this is creepy fun noir. Yeah.
Is it so does it bring the consequences side to life for like the noir setting?
Certainly, most certainly. Okay, yeah. And the cool part also, again, not only do you have like 16 to choose from and then hopefully more, but each of those, in addition to the the abilities and skills, like you'd expect, but really fun and wild, each of these life forms comes with its own like special thing. All demons, and again, this is coming from almost exclusively from what James already has in his books, and now are just sandboxed out. When he wrote about demons. The demon had a blade and a cat, and it was talking about, this cursed blade, something, I don't want to give it away for those reading it, but so now demon, which is one of the life forms, of course, they're in Shadow Shade, they all come with a cat and a cursed blade. And the cat owns them, just like all cat owners know.
That's awesome. Is Dead Jack statted out? Is Dead Jack the character himself statted out in the book?
It is, yes. And we're still honestly deciding on, having more than just a presence in the setting we're able to do, but perhaps, certainly giving players, the GMs as well, the opportunity to use Dead Jack. He's definitely a speaker. He's the most speaker I've ever heard speak. And again, yes, he's part explorer, he's part warrior, yes, he slings spells out of a grimoire, but no, he's a speaker. And he knows how to get what he wants, and he's so damn cynical that he's able to just survive on a different level. So yeah, we want that type of archetypical, zombie detective as something that the players can not only have in the periphery available, but also if they really want to dig in, absolutely. And also specifically one of the one shots in the core book, we're talking very, very much about having it be specifically Dead Jack. And again, it's James able to, to write that out and everything, but including, it's his characters, so he can do what he wants.
That's so awesome.
I have a lot of writing to do.
So, I'm sorry, what'd you say?
No, go ahead, Dean.
I said I'm gonna have a lot of writing to do.
No, the pressure's on now.
Well, I was just gonna bring up, Alex, you did bring something for us to show people.
I did, and this will be super quick. And again, I have to stress, especially with the layout, with the character sheet. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Is it cool for me to throw it on now?
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. And again, this is not a final character sheet. Please, I have to say that because the design team has not okayed this more than giving a thumbs up in Discord. This is again me throwing stuff together. Me also trying to. This is what the design team will take and then really expand on. It's meant to look like the 1950 Mickey Mantle car. It's again the 1950s thing. So. Are we seeing it? Let's see.
Yeah, it is up.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. They just can't see us. They can see this. The character sheet and basically the chat. Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, and again, I'll make it super quick. But this is Chewy Azul, and Chewy Azul is an ogre spell slinger who scraps and scuffles. Now, this particular image here doesn't have the background sheet. Some of the background story and how it connects and the GM intrusion specifics. But this has the basics, and as you can see, he's an ogre, and this little MP here on the side means that he's part monster and part person, and all of these 16 life forms are part something, or maybe they're full something. That adds, again, and it'll be very clear in the book, an added layer about certain things. For example, his ogre talisman is a bent horn that plays terrible music, but protects against certain beings or life forms that have fae. So if you look there, and a plant thing, for example, is part fae and part monster, and an ogre here is part monster and part person. So there's ways to even further break it down and make it even more fun about what are these. How do they look? How wild are they? And again, you'll see special abilities here that are, should be very recognizable to the Cypher crowd here. This is an easy system for sure. Again, you can see he's a spell slinger, so he's got a Cypher limit of 3 at tier 1, the lucky duck. So he's got his last swig of Devil Boy. He's got Little Reds, and he's got a Subway voucher. So we know those are all one-use items, and again, I can't tell you how many ciphers we're going to have. And as you can see, he's an ogre, so he has a certain amount of strength that maybe already be a little bit bigger or greater than others. But as you can see through character choices, he's decided, he's a smart cat. He's all about interacting with animals. He is good at deception, but maybe that's because he can recognize it and avoid it. But also, he's not so great with tasks involving perception. So as crazy as that sounds, the deception going against the perception means that in certain situations he can walk in, say maybe to a bebop club, and he knows whether the bartender is telling a yarn. He knows when that back booth in the Full Moon Saloon is filled with somebody who perhaps isn't trustworthy but has something valuable, perhaps information. And again, he has a switchblade, but he also has a knuckle sandwich. And look at those chompers. He can bite if he needs to, because again, that's an ogre thing. Whether they have the beautiful grill that he has there, or coming out the bottom, or whether they look a little more au naturel. And so that's kind of the basic, that's the basic idea. And again, this can go deeper, but the life forms and the types and the 16 plus foci mean that even people that don't know the system ahead of time, players that are just coming in, can be like, okay, I've got 4 to choose from in this little basket. Great. Warrior. Yeah, I feel like a warrior. Wait, what's an explorer? What's the difference? And a GM can say, you know, what they're, okay, you know what? I want to be an explorer. That seems more exploring type. You know, maybe it's going to be like, maybe they'll go to Monster Island, you know, a la Lost World, Indiana Jones feeling kind of thing, you know, where it's like a wild adventure. They're going to be explorer. Okay, now the next grab bag. You got 16 to choose from. Don't worry, just pick. Oh, hell, Pixie. That sounds crazy. That sounds fun. Yeah, Pixie. We're going to do that. Okay, now go to this one. Okay, you're looking through. Okay, this Scraps and Scuffles, for example. Okay, I'm imagining an angry Pixie who scraps and scuffles and is always out exploring and trying to figure out, and all of a sudden you've got it, and you know, the skills will fall into place, the items will fall into place. You'll always be finding new ciphers, you know, you'll always be finding new items, but you'll have this wild gonzo character just built in from the ground floor of, you know, looking and being like, oh my gosh, I can windy hop.
That sounds so awesome.
Yeah, I'm so excited to play in this setting. Like, you have no idea.
Yeah.
Like,
So James, is that? would you
I'm
say
not.
that-
I'm not, as you can tell. I'm not really that into it. I just want to play, guys. I really do.
Yeah,
I'm not
think, you
kidding.
know, I think everybody wants to play. So James, would you say, you know, just because of what you've already done and created, that we can all like look forward to, you know, just finding our quirk? Like, you know, every character that we're going to create is going to, you know, basically blossom a life of their own beyond what we think we're creating. You think can you speak to that portion for us? Because that's what I'm getting. That's the feeling I'm getting.
Yeah, I mean, we've already been creating some characters, and I'm already like, oh, this guy's gonna be in the books. This guy's gonna be in a short story. So it's been kind of a problem for me because it's been spawning so many ideas that I have probably ideas for like dozens of short stories now, and I'm still working on the 3rd book. So a lot of this stuff is probably going to find its way into the book. And there's going to be a spin-off series, which I haven't announced yet, which is going to star a certain witch/pixie who's covered in tattoos. But even though she's half pixie, she's about 6 foot and plus size, which is a big issue for her. And so she's going to get her spin-off series, and hopefully next year Dead Jack 3 is going to come out, Dead Jack and the Old Gods, and then later in the year it's going to be the spin-off series. So if you read the books, you'll know the character I'm talking about, and that's who we based all these witches with the magical tattoos on. So that's going to be really cool.
The guys from Irregardless want me to ask you for you to tell us about your modeling career.
Oh no.
that reply.
Yeah, that's what I was supposed to ask you about between modeling and Captain Crunch.
All right, so let's hear it. Let's hear it. Well, what's that? Oh no, tells me there's a story or something.
I should just show you. You know, I was gonna say I'll give you the pictures if somebody pledges $200 or more.
Oh, I mean, if anybody wants to do it, right? Just proof of receipt.
I have the pictures.
That'll be an additional, what is it, a backer level.
Back into the Kickstarter, and you get James' personal modeling performance.
Special CU promotion.
I was forced to model a bathing suit.
Oh no!
Nice.
Yeah, it was like some school function thing, and I guess the other child model had dropped out, and they was like, there's a good looking kid. And then I was a very shy kid.
That's amazing.
They put me in the back in this bathing suit, and I'm in a robe, and I have Donald Duck flip flops on.
Nice.
I was forced to walk around this gymnasium modeling it.
Amazing.
All these old ladies were watching me and loving it. So
James probably thought You know, I'm going on this show to talk about role-playing games in my book, and now I'm talking about modeling.
Yeah.
James
James is a human speaker who regrets his decisions.
You know, I mean, if we really think about it, I mean, I'm just looking at your bio, and it's pretty eclectic. I mean, stand-up comedian, rock singer, guitarist, child model. I mean, you're a bit of a special kind of guy here.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I just did an interview. Well, you can read about it. I did an interview with the Nerd Daily, and I told the story about my disastrous stand-up attempt at a stand-up career. Didn't work out. It did not.
Hey, you had the courage to get up there. Though.
Try, yeah.
I did. I was 17, and it didn't go well. And as soon as I got off the stage, I said to my friend who came with me, I said, I guess I'm going to college. And then 2 days later, I applied for Brooklyn College. Oh, and then that was it. Then I just said, I'm going to stay behind the scenes.
Nothing like a stand-up comic show to make you realize you need to go to school, right?
I mean, that's like a huge reality check, right? like I guess it's not gonna work out, huh?
I guess I'll steer us back into the game. What are normal people called in the Dead Jack universe? And do you have the option to play a normal person?
Humans, but they're not normal. Well, in the Dead Jack, I mean, even all the humans in Pandemonium have some kind of supernatural ability. Even if it's not something like super powered, they'll have like at least some low form of like ESP or something like that. So everybody there is supernatural in some regard. That's why black cats are there, because all black cats are supernatural.
Oh, nice!
But you have to be special to be in Pandemonium. You just can't.
Yep.
We did have one question from our viewer Shinobi233. They're just asking, what is the equivalent of a noir femme fatale in this universe? Is there maybe a character that already fits that role? I mean, I haven't read.
I'll be real, without James giving away more. I mean, it's already in one of his books. Someone who would check every box of femme fatale in a wonderful way, but also in an even more like more than just like full of agency is one way to put it. Like she rules. Right. So it's a I don't want to give away too much, but yes, it's most certainly any of the character types could certainly, their occupation comes, and we'll have a big table for fun, or if someone already knows what they want to do, but the occupation might be, again, that's the flavor you choose right at the end. That's the salt and pepper, right at the end. So that's things where you may choose to be, say, a lounge singer, of any gender whatsoever, but specifically in like the traditional noir femme fatale style. Let's say you're a plant thing, because why not? You're a plant thing explorer who let's see, one of our others who takes the reins. Okay, so who takes the reins? And again, some of these may change the titles or something, but it's somebody who, you have a job as a lounge singer, and you're probably wearing a red dress, and you're probably, up against a piano, and, you've got a mic and there's smoke in the air, and, you're singing your heart out, and, you're controlling the crowd. And then you go off stage and someone's waiting in the wings with you, for you with a note, and gives it to you and walks away. And then all of a sudden you're on your way. Then femme fatale will turn into, especially with all these ciphers and, one use, you may have a grimoire in your purse, in a clutch purse. Again, I'm just going with the traditional noir femme fatale. You may have a switchblade in there. You may be able to, again, let's say you're a plan thing. At that point, you're faster than everybody else. You can move your plant body again, however it looks, however your imagination, says it looks, from here to way over there, long range, all the way, whereas everybody else can do a short range thing, and you can do that. So you're around and you've got that person, and now you're really a femme fatale. So I would say that it's built in. The hard-boiled detective is for sure built in, but yeah, femme fatale. The backstabbing, the business partners. Maybe they're at the track. Maybe the bookies are down trying to figure out which of the Shadow Shade baseball teams is going to win the pennant, and people feel strongly. So there's most certainly all the tropes, all the good tropes of noir, especially yeah, femme fatale would be. I would definitely go there if I for whatever PC I'll be creating. I would definitely go that route. That's slick.
Shinobi asked another question. Shinobi asked, he said, if a detective is a zombie, what kind of creatures ask the detective for help?
Can you repeat the first part again?
Basically, he's saying because, Dead Jack, the detective, Dead Jack is a zombie.
Yes.
What kind of creatures ask that type of detective for help?
Oh. Any of the other 15 life forms. Pandemonium is so wild, so eclectic, that there might be a zombie, you take the bus home, the bus driver, maybe, looking over there and he's a zombie. Or maybe you go into the library and, one of the older librarians puts her finger up there and it's a bony finger and she's a zombie. But she's working with, next to a vampire who she hates, because that vampire is always talking about about the latest love of their life and the this and that, and the zombie can't be bothered. So it's really about putting these wild things into the mundane in a fun tilt kind of way. And again, that's what comes out in the books. Everybody's, there's a leprechaun mafia. What the hell? A leprechaun mafia? Thank you.
I can't wait to get this book in my hands, because this is my wheelhouse. Al knows this is absolutely my wheelhouse.
We're gonna play, I promise, very soon.
I think we're all gonna have a blast with this, because I have got so many ideas and I haven't even touched anything yet.
We do have
how much more time we have left on the Kickstarter? When did it drop?
Like 27.
Yeah. Say again, James?
I think it's 27 days.
Yeah, because it's past. Yep. So yeah, we just launched, and yeah, there's 27 days left. And again, we're going strong. Here's the exclusive here. We're thinking about putting a couple stretch goals a little bit closer into the right away, or as soon as we, kind of hit our goal kind of range. Certain things that I honestly would just want people to get right away, like the virtual tabletop package. I mean, honestly, we've already done it. I'm not going to lie. Like we have a lot of work to do with all the art and layout, but we know what we're doing. Like we know what you'd want to see in the module, what's extraneous, what you don't need, but what you want in some way, the world maps, but also the tokens, but also the cool notes too, and even just the generic like notes to players that cause these weird like noir side-eye things. That's all in the virtual tabletop, and that's one that we want to put closer. So stay tuned, especially for the updates, because we're going to be pushing. We want everybody to have that. So sooner rather than later, we want everybody to know that's hitting. So 27 days left, but we're definitely packing a lot of the good stuff in for sure.
I mean, like what we said earlier, most of our audience knows Vert, knows Ravendesk games, but more importantly, they know the quality you guys put out. So there's no doubt in my mind that this Kickstarter is going to be high quality, right off the bat, you're gonna get a complete game, a full book that's beautiful. You don't need anything else but dice and the Cypher core book.
Yeah.
So let's back
Yep.
this thing. Let's get at it,
Yep.
because I want to run
That's
some
the
games on the CU. I want to play some games on the CU. Let's get this backed.
and even more, like everything's in one book too. So like you don't even need, yes, if you're already playing the Cypher System games, you have your own games, you want to really make it weird, our core book has it will be compatible without a doubt, but that core book will have all the rules, everything you'll need in just one single book. All the Cypher System rules, all the foci, descriptors, types, ciphers, ins, vehicles. We're going to have cool vehicles. Come on, 1940s through early 50s. In the Dead Jack novels, he's what is it? Is it
it's Studebaker. The Studebaker.
Oh my gosh, it's so rad. You just want to, that it's clank. It's never been washed ever. All the descriptions there. That'll be in there. So we're gonna pack it full of all the good stuff.
I need a 53 Buick Special.
Okay. We'll tell Friendon, the mad scientist artist, because
your Buick Special has to be there. There is nothing like that car back then. I'm telling you.
Yep. Yeah, we'll scratch that itch, I promise.
But I can only imagine the weapons you guys are gonna have in there, because you guys are experts at creating, new and unique, starting out new and unique weapons. So I'm super excited.
Me too. Can't wait to. I won't say anything, but it's gonna be a lot more tables this time. Fun things like character generators, or NPC generators, adventure generators. Like we've learned a lot again over the last couple games, and stuff we just ended up eventually kind of using in our own games. And we're like, wait a second, so we're gonna pack that in there too. So that the hope is definitely, between that core book, which has everything and has even a solo play option and all this other cool stuff, and the zines that are coming out every 90 days, on your doorstep or in your inbox if you're going the PDF route. It'll string together, and we'll definitely get, it'll be total, that would be awful. I promise not pandemonium. It'll be total pandemonium.
But real quick before we sign off here, and we give a little more information about where you find. I've been posting the links in the chat this whole time, but we'll talk about it specifically. But we do have one more question from the audience just before we get out of here. It's Brilliant Loser, our good friend Jesus. He asks, "Can I play Flesh Abomination Ben Grimm? I don't really know what Ben Grimm is, but a Flesh Abomination might be an interesting character type to play with. Don't know if that exists within the universe, but I guess that's the question."
James will be. I can see little mental notes happening. I'm already figuring. Okay. All right. What was it? Say, was it Jesus?
Brilliant Loser, and his real name is Jesus. Yeah. Sorry.
Gotcha. Okay, Brilliant Loser. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Oh, Ben Grimm is a thing. Sorry, I don't know what Ben Grimm is. Sorry.
Ben Grimm, the Thing from the Thing.
Oh, the Thing. Oh.
So he wants to play a Flesh version.
Oh yeah. Okay, Giants. We have Giants.
I'm so bad.
And that's coming up. And Giants are everything from 6 foot but packed full to not quite kaiju style, but they're there as well. But a giant absolutely could look like that. But you've got to figure out, you've got to get the right tailor, because those are some big dimensions. You got to look good, probably, right? You not like that. You need to look good. You probably got one of these little stash, perhaps, or if you're a gal, you got, maybe like the ultimate curls in your hair, and maybe you got kind of like this, maybe almost like a early rockabilly chic kind of, badass look. It's gonna be there.
All right. Anyways, now that I've thoroughly embarrassed myself live instead of a recording for once, I believe this is a good point to kind of wrap things up. We would have kept it in the
recording anyway.
No, we 100% sure would have.
So,
but yeah,
real quick, just before we hit our closing thoughts and all that good stuff, let's just give a real big Cypher, Cypher Unlimited thank you to you guys, because this is awesome.
Thank you so much.
We're so
Thank
happy
you.
to have you here. We want this to be successful, so we're going to be sharing it out, pumping it out. It's going to be out there in the ether, and everybody out here, if you haven't backed this Kickstarter yet, you know what, you need to jump on board, because that's what we do. We support all things Cypher. And last but not least, Anthony, I know you
I
always
mean, my closing thoughts is, what it is, Ravendesk Games, the quality they put out, so that's without question. This setting sounds so unique. It sounds so interesting. I could only imagine what GMs will be able to do with the Dead Jack setting in their hands, and I think we'll surprise James with the. One thing we are a creative bunch, us role players, especially our Cypher system players. So I'm sure we could take this in crazy, unimaginable directions and scenes. I'm excited to get it in my hand. So please back this Kickstarter. You're not gonna regret it. Like I said, if you've seen Vert, you've seen the quality of the book. There's no doubt in my mind that this is gonna exceed that. I can guarantee you that. So, please back it, because I already did.
Me too.
Yes, and again, thank you guys so much for coming on. I will be posting the links to the stuff I already have. I'll keep posting them. But real quick, James, for people out there who want to follow your work or whatever have you, what's the best way to go about doing that? Like Twitter, Facebook? I did post your Twitter in the thing, and the child will do it again right now, but I don't know what was like the best way to reach your stuff?
You can just go to deadjack.com and everything's there.
Easy enough. Let me just type that in the chat just for everyone. Jeddat.com. And yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much. And again, I'm looking
and
so
Alex?
forward. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Where they can follow you and
you can follow me to the Kickstarter, and I promise not to follow you home.
And let me post that again.
Please, yes, I appreciate it.
It has the Ravendesk Facebook page as well as the Kickstarter.
Thank you.
And,
yes, that as well.
Speaking of following, if you like us and you like what we do, you can always follow us on YouTube or Twitch or Twitter, Cypher Unlimited on everything. Our video content will always be free, but you can support us on Ko-fi or go visit our online shop and purchase some of this cool Cypher Unlimited gear, because we use that little bit of money we get for small things like Zoom costs, and it helps us get awesome guests like James and Alex here. And we want to continue to provide content for you guys, and like always, we love you guys.
Yeah, and thank you guys so much. And from us at the CU, we will see you later.